Ever feel like you're just drowning in a sea of notifications? Like you're
Yeah.
just constantly bombarded?
Yeah.
Well, now imagine that. But it's not your phone. It's an entire factory floor.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's buzzing with alarms and flashing lights everywhere you look, going off constantly.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a problem.
And that's the reality for a lot of people in manufacturing.
Yeah.
And especially, in industries like pharmaceuticals and medical devices, right?
Right.
Where precision and compliance, those are non-negotiable.
Absolutely.
And that constant, barrage of beeps and lights going off, that's not just annoying.
No. It's got to be distracting at the very least.
Right. It's a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
It actually affects efficiency.
Right.
And productivity and quality.
Yeah.
And it can even impact regulatory compliance.
Yeah.
So in today's world, with smart factories, interconnected systems, that noise is only getting louder.
Right.
So we have to find a way to deal with it. So that's why today we're diving deep into a solution that promises to bring some peace and quiet
Okay.
while actually making things run better.
How about that?
And this is something that could revolutionize the way you work, especially in regulated industries. We're talking about cITOM,
cITOM.
Continuous IT/OT Operations Management.
Okay.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Another acronym, really.
Yeah, you get a little bit of acronym fatigue sometimes in this business.
Right. But trust me, this one has some serious potential.
Okay, so you're saying this is one we should really pay attention to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially, again, for industries with those really strict regulations, like pharmaceuticals, like medical devices.
Right, right. Because in those industries, the stakes are so high.
Exactly.
You can't afford to have any downtime or any mistakes.
And what's so fascinating about cITOM is that it tackles this challenge that's becoming more and more critical every day.
Right.
And it's this convergence of IT and OT.
IT and OT. Okay.
So think about it. You're in a factory.
Right.
Your production lines, they're not just mechanical systems anymore.
Right.
They're generating tons of data.
They're talking to each other digitally.
Exactly.
Which is a good thing, right?
It is, in a lot of ways, incredibly powerful.
Sure.
But
There's always a but.
it also opens up some, well, let's call them vulnerabilities.
Right. Because the more complex a system is, the more ways there are for it to go wrong.
Exactly.
And when it does go wrong, it can be harder to figure out what happened and how to fix it.
It's not as simple as just tightening a bolt or replacing a belt anymore, right?
Right.
So you're saying our reliance on data, all this interconnectedness, it's actually making things more complex
Mm.
and even risky in a way.
It is. In some ways, yeah, it is. Imagine a minor software glitch.
Okay.
Right. And it just cascades through your entire production line,
Wow.
impacting not just your output, but also, think about this, creating a compliance nightmare.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right. Or think about like a critical sensor
Okay.
and it sends a faulty reading.
Uh-huh.
And then what happens? You have a costly batch deviation.
Right, because now you've got to go back and track down.
Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah, and it could have been prevented.
Right. And that's what cITOM is designed to do, is to prevent these kinds of scenarios from even happening.
Okay, so it's like having this super smart guardian angel
That's a good way to put it.
watching over your entire operation,
Keeping an eye on everything.
catching those issues before they become huge problems.
Yeah, it's about moving from being reactive, right?
Yeah.
You're always putting out fires,
Right.
to being proactive.
Okay,
Stopping those fires from even starting.
and that's a game changer,
It is.
especially in these industries where even the smallest deviation can have huge consequences.
Absolutely.
You give me an example. I want to understand this. How does cITOM actually work in practice?
Absolutely.
Like, give me a scenario.
Okay, let's say you're running a batch in a sterile environment,
Okay, I'm with you.
right? Like a clean room.
Right.
And suddenly you get an alert that a pressure sensor in that clean room is reading high. Now, in a traditional setup, you might just get a cryptic alarm code,
Right. That doesn't tell you a whole lot.
and it leaves you scrambling, right?
Right, trying to figure out what it means, what's going on.
Exactly. Where is this sensor? What does it do?
Exactly.
But with cITOM, it's a whole different experience.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What happens?
Instead of just a code, cITOM gives you context.
Context.
Imagine clicking on that alert, and you instantly see a dashboard
Okay.
with all the relevant information.
Mm-hmm.
Historical sensor readings, trend charts.
Wow.
You can even see the last maintenance log for that specific sensor.
So you have everything you need to make an informed decision right at your fingertips.
Exactly. No more digging through files or chasing down technicians for information.
No more playing phone tag on a Saturday morning.
Exactly. And here's where it gets even better.
Okay.
Based on predefined rules, cITOM can automatically trigger a notification to the right people.
Okay. So it's not just about the data, it's about getting that data to the right people who can actually do something about it.
Yes, and it can escalate the issue if it's critical, you see.
Okay, that's huge.
Yeah.
So you're not relying on someone to just, happen to see an email or...
Exactly. And it starts logging the entire event
Right.
in a secure, time-stamped audit trail.
Okay, now you're speaking my language.
Mm-hmm.
Because in a regulated environment, that kind of documentation, that's golden.
It is. It is.
It's not just about fixing the problem. It's about proving that you have everything under control.
Exactly.
It's like having a digital paper trail that would make even the most meticulous auditor nod in approval.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's just one example. What's really powerful about cITOM is that it's not limited to just reacting to problems. It can actually help you anticipate them.
Hold on. Did you just say it can predict the future? I thought we were talking about software, not crystal balls.
Well, not quite predicting the future, but
Okay.
it can analyze historical data
Okay.
and identify patterns that might indicate a potential issue down the line.
Okay.
So, for instance, it could notice that a particular sensor tends to drift out of spec after a certain number of operating hours.
Interesting. So instead of waiting for something to break, cITOM can give you a heads up.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, you might want to check on this before it becomes a problem.
Exactly, like having a sixth sense for your factory floor. You can address potential issues before they even have a chance to impact production.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Especially in these industries where, patient safety is paramount.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears for a second. Let's talk about the human element.
Okay.
Because even with all this amazing technology, you still need skilled people to manage it all, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's another area where cITOM really shines. It empowers your team. It doesn't replace them.
Okay, good.
One of the biggest pain points I hear in manufacturing is on-call fatigue.
Oh, yeah.
Those late-night calls.
The dreaded 3 a.m. phone call.
Exactly. For issues that could have totally waited until morning.
Oh, tell me about it. Been there, done that, have the caffeine withdrawal headaches to prove it.
Right. So imagine a system that intelligently routes alerts based on expertise, availability,
Okay.
ensuring that the right person gets contacted at the right time. No more unnecessary interruptions. No more scrambling to find that one person who knows how to fix a problem at 3 a.m.
Now that's what I call a game changer. Not just for efficiency, but for work-life balance, too.
Exactly.
Happy engineers, fewer errors,
Yes,
right?
I'd say so, yeah.
What about those really, hairy situations where you need a whole team to, huddle and come up with a solution?
Oh,
Does cITOM have something for that, too?
It does. It does. Think about integrating cITOM with collaboration tools that you're probably already using, like Slack or Microsoft Teams.
Right. Everyone's using those.
Right. So imagine getting an alert directly in your team chat.
Okay.
You can pull up relevant dashboards and documentation, just a few clicks. You can even launch a video call with all the key stakeholders
Wow.
right there within the same interface.
So instead of jumping between different systems and wasting precious time, you have everything you need in one centralized hub.
Exactly. And because cITOM is meticulously logging every action, every decision, every piece of communication,
Right.
you're creating this incredibly valuable knowledge base
Okay.
that can be used for training, process improvement,
That's
and
right.
of course, demonstrating compliance to regulators.
It's like having a digital paper trail
Yeah.
that would make even the most meticulous auditor nod in approval. Talk about a win-win, right?
Yeah,
You're saving time, you're reducing errors, and you're making auditors happy all at the same time.
that's right. That's right. And the real beauty of it.
What's that?
This isn't some far off, futuristic fantasy.
Right.
This is technology that is available today. Companies are using this.
Wow. So it's not just like a pie-in-the-sky idea.
No. Forward-thinking companies are implementing this across various industries.
So for our listener who, maybe they're hearing about cITOM for the first time today,
Right.
what's the one big takeaway? What do you want them to remember about CI?
I would say this. cITOM isn't about just replacing alarms with,
Right.
fancier alarms.
Nice.
It's much bigger than that.
Okay.
It's really about fundamentally changing how we approach operations in this era of interconnectedness.
Okay.
It's about harnessing the power of all that data.
Right. Because we have it. Might as well use it.
Yeah, but to make smarter decisions, not just faster decisions.
Right. There's a difference.
Huge difference, yeah.
So it's not just about reacting to problems. We've got to get out of that mode.
Right. get out of that reactive mode.
It's about anticipating them. It's about preventing them.
Yeah.
And if they do happen, it's about learning from them. Right.
Exactly. And that shift in mindset, that's what truly sets cITOM apart. It really does. It's moving beyond, the buzzwords
Right.
and embracing this culture of continuous improvement.
And I think that's something that really resonates with our audience.
Okay, they're all about that.
Especially the folks that we talk to work in these really highly regulated industries.
Absolutely.
Pharmaceuticals, medical devices, where the stakes are high.
When you're dealing with life-saving products, there's no room for error.
Absolutely not.
cITOM provides that extra layer of assurance,
Okay.
that peace of mind.
Right.
That comes from knowing you have a system in place that's constantly watching, learning, adapting to ensure those highest levels of quality and safety.
It's like having a digital safety net. That's always there, catching those potential issues before they become big problems.
And not just catching them, but helping you understand why they happen so you can prevent them from happening again. That's the learning part.
Right.
Turning data into knowledge, knowledge into action, action into improvement.
I like that. It's a cycle. So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive here into cITOM, what's the one thing you'd leave our audience with to kind of ponder?
I would encourage them to think beyond just the technology itself.
Okay.
Think bigger. This is about transformation.
Okay.
It's about moving from a culture of firefighting to a culture of foresight.
Wow, I like that.
From just managing alarms to truly mastering operations.
That's beautifully said. It's about embracing a future, right?
Yeah.
Where technology helps us work smarter, not harder.
Absolutely.
Where all this data we're collecting actually becomes useful,
Yeah,
becomes a source of insight and innovation.
that's right.
And where those once dreaded,
Oh, I know.
alarms, they become something else.
Right.
They become a symphony of efficiency and progress.
Now you're talking. And who knows? Maybe one day those alarms, they won't be a source of stress and frustration. They'll actually be a welcome reminder that everything's running smoothly.
That everything's working as it should.
Exactly.
I like that. A lot to think about.
There is.
Well, on that optimistic note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive.
That's good.
We hope this exploration into the world of cITOM has sparked your curiosity
I hope so.
and inspired you to explore how this really transformative technology can help you achieve operational excellence in your organization. Thanks for listening.